Hey everyone, John from Beyond ARTV. It is time for another video. I'm trying to bring in some new kind of off-the-cuff type series to mix in with my other content. I don't always have a problems I have with, or an SOS, or a rant, or whatever it may be. And today I'm going to be talking about my concert bucket list. Now, if you're not familiar with the concept of a bucket list and you've been living under a rock somewhere for the past, I don't know, your entire life, then I'm going to fill you in real quick. A bucket list is something that you have to do before you die, or else you want to. You make a list and you're like, I have to see this live, or I have to go to this place in Australia, or this place in the world, and I want to do this thing. I want to go skydiving. And today I'm going to be talking about bands or artists that I am just dying to see live in concert, and I haven't been able to, whether it be ticket prices, location, they're not ever coming to North Carolina where I live, or else Pittsburgh where my girlfriend lives, or just something along the way hasn't worked out. And unfortunately, with a lot of these acts, I've been very close to seeing them, or else there's been something that just went wrong that I wasn't able to. Like, for example, one of the very first ones on this list, I was supposed to be able to go see them in September, but that's not gonna work out. And you know what, I'll just save the rest for whenever we actually get into it, but I did want to say real quick before we start the list to, if you're able to, support me on either Patreon or else TAD. The second one, TAD, is brand new. I haven't really talked about it on this channel yet, but it's the second link in the description down below beneath my Patreon, and all you have to do is download the app for free and watch ads, and those ads, or else the TADs that you earn, actually turn into real money for me. So whenever you earn 500, transfer it over to me. That's actually a 50-cent donation, which is incredible, especially during these apocalyptic type times. So if you're able to, grab that app, watch some ads. Let's get into my concert bucket list. So the first artist on my list today is none other than Lorde, because yes, of course I want to see her slay live, and I just want to see the performance. And I was so mad that in 2017, with her being out on the festival circuit, I went to a big music festival, Boston Calling, and she wasn't there. That was like one of the only festivals that she was not at. She's on the bill for like Governor's Ball and Coachella and all these other things, and then I go to Boston Calling and she's not there. Okay. She's immensely talented, and I love that she just lets her body go into the music. She flows with it. There's a lot of vibrato there, and you can see her facial expressions and her dancing. At times, to some, it might seem awkward, but I love it because she simply does not care. She lets herself go, and she flows with the vibe of her music. And obviously, I've loved both of her albums and her EP, The Love Club, that came out, and I'm really into Melodrama, her new record, and I would love to see a lot of those tracks in a live setting. So definitely one on the bucket list, but I'm not sure how soon that one's gonna get crossed off. Remember that one band that I said that I was supposed to be able to go see live this fall? Yeah, that was Queens of the Stone Age, and I'm not going to be able to go. Whatever, shoot me now. They're coming to Pittsburgh, where my girlfriend lives and is going to a final year of school, and that's in September. She's unfortunately having classes that night, and then I have to work like either the next day or else probably that day, so it's just not going to work out. I wouldn't be able to drive all the way up there and then just drive straight back essentially after the show. It would basically be a death wish for me the next day at work, and as much as I would love to do that, and as incredible as I've seen them live and performances on YouTube and that sort of thing, I can't make it happen, and for that reason they're still on my list, not quite getting crossed off yet. Josh Homme has so much personality live, and I would love to see some of these cuts, like from Rated R, Better Living Through Chemistry. I saw them explode with a performance of that at Rock in Rio, and maybe some of these new cuts that just seem like they would be electrifying live, like Feet Don't Fail Me Now and The Evil Has Landed. Those are monumental monsters, and I can't wait for the day that I am finally able to go. Please, please, come to North Carolina. Forget about our stupid bathroom bill and all of the people that were just boycotting us. Please come. Speaking of people that I am begging to come to North Carolina, Brandon Flowers and company, I am looking at you, killers. Please, you've only come to North Carolina 4 times ever, according to setlist.fm. Why the hell are we getting left out so much? You came like twice in 2003 to 2004, right when you were blowing up, and now you've only come twice in those 10 years that have followed? What gives? The Killers have announced a small tour and of course are not coming to either North Carolina or to Pittsburgh, so I am feeling a bit left out. They are one of those bands that play a lot of festivals, and that's great because they can of course attract a huge crowd. They're always one of the highest billed, and even after all this time, they're still such an immensely talented and popular band. And I get why they play the festivals. I'm sure they get paid a lot to do so as well, but I would just really appreciate it if they went out on like a full US tour, hitting like everywhere, not just certain locations that like the main cities get and then nobody else gets and then everybody feels left out, because there's so many songs that I want to chant along to and sing to live, but I haven't yet gotten that opportunity. Trent Reznor has been performing live since the early 1980s, and I would love to see that up close and personal for myself. You see a lot of abstract images and shadows used in their live performances from what I can tell, and now with him paired with Atticus Ross, that seems like it would be a thunderous and tremendous live show. Now they are going out on tour, but unfortunately are not coming close enough to me that I'm going to be able to go. I think they're actually touring maybe right now, and with this new EP, Add Violence, out in the world that I enjoyed, and especially the one that preceded that being even better, not the actual events, I would just love to see a mix of new and old, to see where Reznor is at in terms of the anger that he brings to some of these older moments, like March of the Pigs and Closer and Head Like a Hole. I'm sure he mixes those in with some of the newer cuts off of the EPs and maybe even some of the songs from the most recent album, Hesitation Marks. But like I said, I haven't seen them live yet, so I'm not sure. If you have seen them live, let me know what to expect down in the comments. Ah, my heart is cold for not being able to see Florence and the Machine live yet, as of right now in 2017. Maybe that will have changed if they put out this new record in late 2017 or early 2018 like they've been talking about, but Florence Welch is such a commanding vocalist. She's such a presence up on stage, and it seems like she's almost angelic as she guides the spirit of the crowd in sing-alongs and just these bombastic instrumentals from the backing band, obviously the Machine. And everything that I've seen, especially like that Rain performance at that one festival that everyone was talking about, they have a glowing set that they just play and tear through, but they also have a crowd connection as well, which seems really, really cool to me. And with that voice, it's one of those things where it's almost the Hayley Williams effect. Thank God I've already seen Paramore live. I'm going to be getting to sit much more closely at this next upcoming show that I'm going to in September. But with Florence Welch, she has this commanding voice, and I love the female vocals. It's something that I'm drawn to even more than a male voice, it seems, half the time. So I'm excited for the day that maybe I will get to see them live, but for now, I'm gonna have to settle for just watching videos on YouTube or else ones of like the live lounge performances on BBC. Man, the Foo Fighters are just a live band, and I'm ashamed. I almost had tickets to go see what at the time was their longest show that they ever played, and I found that out right afterwards. They played for 3.5 hours. This was at Rock the Vote for Charlotte back in 2012, and I was supposed to go with my friend, and I had the tickets, I thought, in my cart, but something happened, and the next thing I know, they're sold out, and I'm not going to the concert. It was announced just like a week or two before it actually happened. It was kind of an event to promote going out and voting and that sort of thing, but they ripped through that set in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I'm kicking myself still for not being there. Now, they've come several times. They're actually coming to Greensboro in the fall, but the tickets are so expensive. That's not too far from me, but I just don't know if I'm gonna be able to afford it. Maybe at best I'll be sitting in the nosebleeds, but I still don't even think that's worth it necessarily. I mean, it's like $65 to sit so far away. That's basically like pulling out a pair of binoculars and looking at it like that. And for me, you know, that's just like, I'd rather watch it on YouTube because at least I could get a better angle and view of it. If I'm gonna go, I think I'm gonna go all out and get a better seat. Dave Grohl is a fucking legend. So are Pat Smear, Nate Mendel, all of the guys in the band. They're all fantastic musicians, and I can't even wrap my head around how they play so long. Like these concerts, they go 3+ hours often. And they do have a lot of songs to run through, sure, but what kind of band has that kind of stamina into their mid to late 40s? They are just not even treading water, they are going balls to the wall. I mean, Dave Grohl's out there playing with a broken leg after he falls off stage, has a custom little throne built so that he can still finish the tour. That is rock and roll. These guys live and breathe rock and just playing music, and I can't wait for the day that I do see them. Now, there's definitely other rappers that I would like to see live, but I think Eminem is really high up there for me just because I have such a personal connection to his music. Early on, like I just talked about in that recent episode of 7 on Sunday where I talked about how I got into rap and hip-hop, Eminem was that guy that bridged it for me. From like getting into like rock to getting into rap, I had a hard time, but I actually heard the lyricism of When I'm Gone, a track by Eminem, and that's one that just made me kind of turn my head a different way, look at it from a different perspective. And I was like, there's actually some depth to some of these moments. Sure, they're having fun, they're talking about women and other things on other tracks. I didn't care too much for that. But once I started to see that there was actual poetic lyricism in this music, I started to gravitate towards it. And for that reason, I would love to see Eminem live. And I've seen some great videos of him performing, like the one that is very notable for me. I think he did the YouTube Awards back in like 2013, right when the Marshall Mathers LP2 was coming out, and he did Rap God live and just blew me away. He blew the lid off the place. It was a weird kind of trippy way that they filmed it, but at the same time I thoroughly enjoyed it, and just seeing him on tours even after that, it shows that he's still a fantastic and commanding MC. Just to let you know, these picks have been in no particular order, but the final one I want to talk about today is Queen plus Adam Lambert. Now, obviously, there's always the argument of, he's no Freddie Mercury, and for that, I'm saying he's not trying to be. I mean, does anybody think that Adam Lambert and Queen are trying to replace this guy who is a fucking legend? No, Adam Lambert is the perfect replacement, and I say that in the sense that he's stepping in to fill some shoes that could never really be filled, but he's stepping into a different pair of shoes. And in those, he is killing it. I've seen some of these performances all the way back from like the New Year's Eve thing in 2014 to even the recent 2017 tour. And unfortunately, I haven't been able to go. Those tickets are pretty expensive as well, and I am not made of money over here. But that's something that it's like a classic rock thing. Like, I would love to see Paul McCartney as well. And there's plenty that I'll never get to see, but just because these bands no longer exist. And I hope that before they get too old, before they stop touring, I will actually be able to see the Queen experiences live and just kind of shout along to some of these classic and monumental tunes. I mean, sure, I can say that I'm sick of We Will Rock You and We Are the Champions all I want, but as soon as you get into that live setting and you feel it moving through your veins, you know that you're going to be shouting those words along, and I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't say that I'd be right there with them. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing a little bit of a peek into what I'm dying to see in terms of music live, whether it be a band or an artist. Let me know what's on your concert bucket list in the comment section down below, and let me know other fun videos that you'd like to see me do like this. It doesn't just have to be a rant or problems I have with, but I will take suggestions for those as well. But if you have something that you would just like to see me do, music or entertainment related here on the channel, then let me know in the comments. Other than that, don't forget to leave a like on the video, and if you're able to, support on Patreon or TAD at those top 2 links. You can go directly to my Patreon by tapping that annotation over in the corner of the video, or you can see last week's episode of 7 on Sunday, which is that rap and hip-hop themed one I was referencing right here, or another recent video from Beyond ARTV right here. Socials are in the description. My voice just cracked, and I'll see you very soon right here on Beyond ARTV.